Hello everyone, I just got back from seeing X-Men Apocalypse and wanted to share my thoughts on the sequel. Now, I have some issues with the X-Men movies. Numerous characters have been poorly adapted for the big screen and the cinematic universe's timeline is a mess. Seriously, you need a chart to keep it all straight! After the disappointments that were X-Men The Last Stand and X-Men Origins Wolverine, the series gave itself a reboot with Days of Future Past. Wolverine goes back in time to fix the franchise's flaws, pretty much erasing the events of the worst movies. I was curious to see what the X-Men could do now with a clean slate and if the movies would be more faithful to the source material. If the studio keeps making the same mistakes, then the Days of Future Past timeline reboot was for nothing. So does Apocalypse keep the momentum going, or is it a step backwards? And no, Disney did not pay me to write a bad review. The movie opens in ancient Egypt with En-Sebanur, aka Apocalypse, undergoing a ritual to transfer his consciousness into another mutant with a healing factor. Jumping into different bodies allows him to pick up new powers and also makes him immortal. However, believing Apocalypse is a false god, some angry Egyptians bust in there, kill the four horsemen, destroy his temple, and the debris entombs En-Sebanur. Flash forward to 1983 when Apocalypse awakens. He catches up on world events by fondling a television. And feels humanity has lost its way, follows blind leaders, and plans on rebuilding society from scratch. Apocalypse recruits the mutants Storm, Psylocke, Angel, and Magneto to his cause as the new Four Horsemen. I wish the Horsemen had more scenes and character development, but at the end of the day I guess they're just the hired muscle. Apocalypse has also found his next vessel, planning on transferring his consciousness into Xavier, that way he can control the world's population with telepathy. So it's up to the X-Men to rescue Xavier and to stop the Apocalypse. The movie sees new, younger versions of Scott Summers and Jean Grey. The new actors easily slip into the shoes of these familiar characters and are likable. Jean is having some issues with her powers and they tease the Phoenix for a future movie. Hopefully that'll make up for X-Men The Last Stand. It was also really nice to see Scott Summers as a main character instead of playing second fiddle to Wolverine. I look forward to seeing him become the X-Men leader that we know. I hope we see an extended scene with Scott, Jean, Jubilee, and Nightcrawler at the mall because it would have been a great bonding experience that felt cut out. The movie takes place in the 1980s, but besides for a Return of the Jedi reference and a Depeche Mode song, you really wouldn't be able to tell. First Class felt like the 60s, Days of Future Past felt like the 70s, but this movie lacks a period-setting feel. Nah, just go film some B-roll of someone listening to a boombox. They could have taken better advantage of the time period like in the previous movies. Come on, Xavier could have rocked a mullet before losing his hair. No, that's an awful idea. Oh god. Michael Fassbender returns, and once again, he just kills it as Magneto. I loved Fassbender in the previous movies, and he's really good at playing this tragic character. You love him, you hate him, you feel sorry for him, he makes you laugh, he makes you cry, he takes you out and never calls you again. It's a deep character, and Fassbender has great range as an actor. Once again, Magneto experiences a heartbreaking loss, and Apocalypse exploits that to recruit him. The only con is that Fassbender and McAvoy don't share that many scenes together because the two have great chemistry. What was that? What? Oh, it's another Quicksilver appearance. Xavier's school is once again attacked and destroyed, which according to Colossus and Deadpool, homo is blowing up builds character. That was a horrible Russian accent. I'm rusty on my Russian! Quicksilver arrives and instead of finding his father, ends up saving all the students in another show-stealing scene to the tune of Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. The sequence is very entertaining, and once again I'm surprised with how much I like this character and Evan Peters' eccentric performance. After Apocalypse's attack on the mansion, Stryker shows up and takes several mutants back to the Weapon X facility. Weapon X, you say? That's right, time for a Wolverine cameo. A cameo that washes away the bad taste of X-Men Origins Wolverine. A nice chunk of that prequel should have been about Logan's nightmarish time in the Weapon X program. Instead, it completely rushes an important moment in the character's backstory. Boom, he gets his claws and then he's out of there! X-Men Apocalypse fixes that. When we meet Logan, he's locked in a cage more animal than man. Logan is freed and goes on a killing spree. Not only is it vicious, but he's wearing the Weapon X attire straight out of the comic this time. It's the little things that make me happy. I could have done without Logan bumping into a young Jean and Scott, but overall it's a great sequence. Apocalypse is played by the talented Oscar Isaac. Isaac has great presence on screen as Apocalypse and delivers a solid performance. Unfortunately, Apocalypse spends most of his time recruiting his horsemen, so the character has little time for anything else until the finale. In the comics, Charles loses his hair as a teenager when he gets his mental powers. The previous movies have joked about him going bald on several occasions, and it finally happens in this movie when Apocalypse tries to enter him. During the finale, he loses a lot more than his hair. I thought seeing McAvoy go bald would feel special, but it doesn't. I don't remember any characters commenting on it, it's just, he's bald now. Why did they spend so much time building up to his chrome dome? To conclude, as much as I would like to see what Marvel Studios could do with the X-Men if they ever got the rights back, it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. You know, I must admit that Fox has been on a roll lately with First Class, Days of Future Past, and now Apocalypse. Hell, they even got Deadpool right! Get out of here, Fantastic Four movie! Oh god. So was the timeline reboot for nothing? No. It seems that the series is getting back on track and starting to resemble the X-Men that I know. The movie ends with our heroes finally in their comic book costumes and they look great. Mystique has the white outfit, and Nightcrawler has the black with the red, and Cyclops has the visor with the strap across his chest. Xavier is in his wheelchair and he's bald. I do feel that Mystique's role has been expanded too much in these movies, but it's because Jennifer Lawrence is a big star. I like her, but she hates the makeup and there's this whole power play thing going on with the studio. If she didn't return, I wouldn't mind that much. Don't expect X-Men Apocalypse to be better than Days of Future Past or this year's Civil War, but it is another quality installment with the positives outweighing the negatives. So would I recommend seeing X-Men Apocalypse? Yes. This has been Andy, the Maniacal Cinephile. As always, thank you for watching and see you next time.